Okay, here we go. I didn't move it. Hello, Beth.
How are you?
Good. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to control my, there, okay. My external audio here. And then, hold on. We're almost there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have this I have show and tell. I have
okay.
Except I don't have it. How awesome is that, right? What's the best? Yeah, that's the best angle. So
Beth has a really cool official microphone, Lisa.
I do. My husband bought it for podcasting and then decided not to podcast. And I guess it's probably out of date now because I think he bought it 3 years ago. I got a USB plug, and so I haven't tested it yet or played with it, but we're gonna get.
It looks kind of like the one that we use for one of my other podcasts.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Was that one where you guys sat together in the same room and used?
Yeah. The Stakes is High podcast. That kind of looks like the one that Troy has.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Are you guys still doing the Stakes is High podcast?
We'll still do it, but now since we can't be in the same room, we're just doing it via kind of Zoom, but it's not Zoom. It's what is it? It's it's got a weird name. StreamYard. StreamYard. Our sort of producer person Jeff is somehow got a StreamYard deal or something, so we're trying to use that, and that one it kind of works, Yeah. I like it. Yeah. It's a different service.
I have this picture of me sitting and just speaking
into the microphone.
We're all in America, and
using the mic as a prop.
Dystopia, and I don't.
It looks very NPR. That microphone looks very NPR.
Oh no, I want it to look more like Art Bell.
All right. Okay. All right.
I want to go all Art Bell on us. We got this dystopian rampant virus, and it's destroying our lives. My brother lives in England, and they had a pretty severe lockdown there, right?
Right.
They were slow to respond, and so they had a lot of deaths. But once they responded, they had this really.
They got it together, yeah.
Did you see that? The police would patrol the parks and chase people out if they were just sitting in benches and stuff. It was oh, you've had your 30 minutes outdoors, now you get back in there, right?
Right.
But I guess now, they're pretty mobile, and one of my friend's sons, he lives in London, and he's in the Isle of Wight this weekend for a holiday, and he might go to Italy at the end of the week. And my brother's taking my brother lives in Newcastle, and he's taking a short car trip for a week in Wales, and they're moving around, right?
Okay.
I'm still no, okay, 2 people at a time. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
You guys had we have to talk about the virus because we have to talk about baseball, but you guys had an uptick in Chicago, I heard, with...
So I think we're still having an uptick. So Chicago's going into some degree of kind of lockdown again. I guess that restaurants or bars that don't serve food have to close. It's on my block, there's a restaurant that did permanently close. There's a coffee shop that I guess was closing, but then gonna reopen when students came back to campus. Now, Loyola University has decided that there will be no students housed in the dorms at all this year. So there was some the student athletes that moved in, and now the student athletes have to move out. They've been on campus for a couple of weeks, and now they're having to move off campus again. So it was we tried it, and then after a few weeks, nope, we're not trying it. So I'm pretty sure that coffee shop's probably not opening now. So Chicago, now that it's a thing that's, you could see it happening, right? It got nice out. So now that it's warm, people want to be outside. They want to be in places. And it feels like because it's nice out and people are outside, we must have somehow turned a corner, but we never did. So we never actually flattened the curve. We just were inside, right? So people aren't quite getting it. Chicago's a better city for it than some other cities. We're not in the worst possible shape, but I think we're quicker to kind of lock it down again because we have to.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah. We're doing really well here, as far as I know. Colorado, like, obviously, it's not the same thing to be in Denver as it is to be in, Telluride. I mean, it's just
Right.
completely different universes. Oh, and then we have the Eastern Plains, like that's a whole other thing, right? So, and we also have this concept of home rule. So the governor can make recommendations, but nobody actually has to follow them.
Okay.
A lot of people do, obviously, because they just don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but we're one of those places where they're doing a virus tracking by zip code.
Okay.
And because I'm in Denver, things got a little worse for a while, and so they asked us to chill, and I guess we did, because we got the infection rate down to like 4.2%, and it's been for over 2 weeks, and so maybe we'll hold it together. But yeah, it's I haven't even I know you can go outside and stuff. It's not like you can't go outside, and I guess I should take a walk over to Coors Field and just I even just stand outside and go boohoo.
Are you walking distance from Coors Field?
Not quite, but I'm walking distance from the light rail, which takes me to a station, which is walking distance from Coors Field. So yeah, it's kind of nice. I don't have to drive.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Avoid that. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's probably.
Let's do our intro.
Let's do it.
All right. You're listening to or watching Drop Third Strike with me, Terry Gant, and my co-host Beth Davies. We are recording live from two separate cities, going through two separate ends of the pandemic.
Yes. Well, not quite. Like, we're not in Houston or anything. Those poor people, right? We're not there, but yeah, we didn't even have to make a commitment to do this at a distance, because we're at a distance no matter what's going on. Yeah. Although I will tell listeners and or viewers that I've always figured if I had to run away, I would run to Chicago.
Oh, I don't know about this case.
Yeah,
like there's places in Chicago I think you could do well with, right? Like, then there's other places where it's kind of like, I don't know, like the population density of the entire city. We're a dense city, but in some areas, I think this is Chicago's problem overall, right? There's some like hipper areas that have traditionally kind of skewed towards folks who want to be a part of the active outdoor bar life and, your patio seating and your day drinking. And those are the areas where we're having spikes, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not there, you're probably okay, but you still have to be pretty careful. Like, when I'm out, I'm noticing lots of mask wearing. Like, the bulk of the people are masked up, right? But we're not the kind of city where everyone can just stay in, where everybody wants to just stay in and grub up. Like, you could, but some folks want to get their grocery shopping done and run a few errands and then go back home. Like, for the bulk of the time, for people that I know, that's exactly what they're doing. Not going out if they don't have to, and going out if they have to, and keeping it, nice and short and quick, and not trying to do everything that they used to do. And for people who want to do exactly what they used to do, they're keeping the cases up.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, really, I think for the last 5 to 10 years, I figured I would run to Chicago, because I would just run to you and Lisa.
Sure.
And I would sit in your living room and cry. And then I would follow you over to Third Coast Comics, and then I would sit there all day and cry. And then I would follow you back home, and then I'd sit there with you and Lisa.
I think we're fairly well set up for that.
Yeah.
Even here at our house, we have we're outside, we have a porch, we have a front yard, a backyard.
Lots of places to cry. And then,
we do, yeah. We have good space for distancing and crying.
Yeah. And then I would get that out of my system, and then you guys would be like, "Come on, back."
You absolutely would not be the first person to break down crying at Third Coast.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
How'd your birthday celebration go?
So birthdays haven't happened yet. For the store, it was fairly quiet. Like, we had people come through and buy things for the most part, but I think it's exactly like I was saying, where you can't really do like an outward celebration. Like, I wanted to acknowledge the store had an anniversary, but we couldn't do an event for it. So it's kind of like, hey, this is the weekend of the store's anniversary. Come on and buy a comic. All right, you bought your comics. Take it easy. See you later. I thought about getting balloons and putting balloons up, and then I was like, nah, I don't feel good directly attracting people, right? I feel good selling you a thing and getting you some recommendations and making you feel really good about being here. I don't know that I feel good about making the store seen from space. You know what I mean? Like I would normally do. I don't know that I want to really do that. Yeah. Let's still keep it there's a thing that's happened where, since my store is small, where people will come up to the store, but if they see two people in the store, then they kind of like, you can tell they're thinking, should they even try to come in, right? And you don't want that. You want it like a nice kind of a circulation of like, come on in. You looked around, you've made your selections, you've made your purchases, and as you're making your purchases, here comes the next person out. You cycle out. You know, that I think I'm most comfortable with that in a way.
Yeah,
and that's kind of worked out.
And people are on board with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's for where we're at. It's a lot of people who are fairly smart about it.
Excellent. That's good to know. That's good to know.
So, baseball. All right. What have you seen that you thought was cool in baseball this week?
Well, you know, I saw something that I thought was really, really cool, and it might have just been me. It might have been my state of mind. I'm not sure, but I took a little bit of time off. I'm guessing it was, you know what I did? I think I took a little bit of time off on Thursday afternoon, but I watched the Wednesday game between the Twins and the Pirates.
Okay.
And I just loved that game. And I don't know what the deal was. I didn't watch all of it. I had it on while I was working, and I just took some time off in the afternoon. And I lay down on my sofa, and I watched I really watched like the last 3 innings, maybe 3.5 innings, and I absorbed it deeply, and I loved every minute of it. And, you know, I wasn't really necessarily rooting for either team. I like the Twins a lot, and that's always just kind of been a soft spot for them.
Twins, man. Like, I mean, I remember I used to be a big Twins fan during the like kind of the Kirby Puckett era of the Twins, you know, like their championship teams or whatever. Like they were so good, that team, and then they were so bad after that for so long. I just dismissed the Twins, and now I keep wanting to dismiss the Twins, and that team is so effing good. Like, they are the best team in the major leagues with a bunch of players nobody wanted or that you never heard of, right? Like they are like Nelson Cruz has been on every other team in the major leagues his entire career.
Exactly.
You know, that dude has a suitcase with more damn stamps on it. When he got to the Twins, I was like, isn't he retirement age? Like, I thought he was like I could swear he's been in the league 20 years already, this guy, right? And I like him because Nelson Cruz is a former Mariner. You know, I gotta root for all the former Mariners. Yeah. And then like so many, like I look at when I even like you're doing drafting, right? Like, and you're thinking, oh man, there's no point in me getting any Florida Marlins, they suck, right? I would always think there's no point in getting me Minnesota Twins, they all suck. And then you look and it's like, no, they're just not like popular or marketable, right? But they don't suck.
No, they don't at all. And at MLB.com yesterday, the day before, they had an article about like these 5 teams that have pretty much already locked in a playoff spot, and the Twins is one of them. So Twins.
That's the top of the American League Central is the Twins, and and the thing that settles it is like the Cleveland Indians got to the World Series in 2016 and then kind of went on a bit of a skid.
Yeah.
And when they went on that skid is when the Twins kind of grabbed it and didn't really let go. Yeah. And the Royals haven't exactly picked it up again. Like all those other NL Central teams, like the Tigers went into the tank. Like they let the Twins climb up, and it turned out the Twins weren't. At first, it looked like maybe these other teams are just bad, and the Twins are just accidentally winning a division. And it's not. The other teams are lousy, and the Twins are really good. Yes. Right? It's both of these things.
Yes. And I guess it helps if you're playing like mostly regionally, then you don't have very much competition in your division. Then you know
they are about to really luck out because the White Sox, like I want the White Sox to make the playoffs, and I think they will make the playoffs because now everybody's going to be. It's like a hockey season. But the White Sox don't have 5 starters, right? They may have just discovered they have like 3 starters and some other guys, right? They don't have a solid 5-star pitching staff, you know.
That's right.
So the White Sox they're in trouble. You know, they need some pitching help to actually make noise, you know, to really be solid. And the Twins don't have this problem, right? They don't have a problem with hitting. They don't really have a problem with fielding, and they certainly don't have a problem with pitch. But they just got Jake Odorizzi back, and there's another guy where it's like, Jake Odorizzi, I thought he's been in the league like 15, 20 years, and wait, he's an all-star? Holy shit, how did I miss that? Damn.
Okay,
and
so
Strike it out double digits.
I made this mistake 2 weeks ago, but I actually really do think that Odorizzi was a Rocky. Now, I'm not sure, but I think he probably was. I'm not like Kyle Hendricks, but like in this case, yes, he came from Colorado, and it felt like kind of he was like cast off, you know. But
the Cubs had a Rocky, but it wasn't. Kyle Hendricks is a Cub. But yeah, I think the Rocky we had might have been Steve Cishek.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
Or either that or Tyler, someone. Like I think there's a different pitcher. I think we did pick up a Rockies pitcher, and it turned out he was bad.
Tyler Clippard? Tyler Clippard?
No, not him.
Not him.
And whoever it is, and he might not be a Cub currently. Tyler Chatwood. Okay. Tyler Chatwood.
I was gonna say that, and then I thought, we have Chatfield Reservoir, and I thought that's probably not right.
It's Tyler Chatwood. Tyler Chatwood's the Rocky that the Cubs ended up with, and I'm not entirely clear that the Cubs are thrilled with it.
Okay.
But like he had a bad year after we got him from the Rockies, and now he might be on the upswing again. And for me, the jury's out because the Cubs pitchers I have to really be concerned with are like, it's the old standby, like your John Lesters, your Kyle Hendricks. They're gonna be great. They're gonna be fine. We ain't gotta really worry about them. You have to worry about Jose Quintana because when the Cubs made the trade to get Quintana, it felt like the right thing to do because Quintana was like a low ERA. Like he doesn't he works deep in the like he was just a workhorse pitcher is what he looked like. Then he came here and it's almost like, man, they traded for me. Now I have to really press and be great, and he just hasn't exactly been great. And like part of me actually, so he's on the injured list because he cut his thumb open on a knife in his sink or something right before the season started. And part of me was like, when you've got Jose Quintana money, you have a dishwasher. What are you washing knives for? So part of me was like, that dude doesn't want to play during COVID. He cut his own thumb, right?
That's desperate.
He ain't trying to get out there and do this shit.
You can't just lie about your injuries when you're a baseball player because they'll check you out.
You can't. Well, Jeff Kent. Do you remember the famous Jeff Kent? Like, hurt himself somehow and didn't want to say. It was something about he fell off his pickup truck. Back when he was playing for the Giants, he fell off his pickup truck, washing his pickup truck or some nonsense. Which I think that wasn't true. He probably did something dumber than that. But like that was a famous, ridiculous baseball injury that the team eventually found out about. And allegedly, this is why Madison Bumgarner is no longer Madison Bumgarner. I just had to drop him from a fantasy team this week because they discovered Madison Bumgarner was secretly cattle roping.
Yeah, I heard about that. And then apparently he was better at that than he is at baseball for sure.
Yeah. So now he can't do baseball so well, but because of the cattle roping situation, and it leads to like things like well, now it doesn't matter because Cespedes from the Mets has left the team. He's not going to play this season. But last year and the year before, there was a big deal with him because apparently he golfs a lot on off days.
Okay.
And the Mets were like concerned that it was going to affect his swing.
Yeah.
Right. And it may have affected his swing, but the dude's so weird. How can you tell? Right. Like he's just so bonkers that it's like, all right. I think it's mucking around with his swing the same way Cody Bellinger's dicking around with his swing.
Right.
And watching Bellinger hit one day the other week, and he just kind of stands up like straight up and down with his hat kind of like perpendicular to his body. And I was like, what? He doesn't even have a stance. He's just standing there waiting for you to throw it. Like, like someone's making him go up there.
That was probably his retooling. Is I don't feel like working out, so I'm just not going to try. I'm just going to stand here.
It was almost like you could draw a photo of him. You could draw a picture of him while he's in his batting stance because he's not moving. There's no getting ready. He just is ready when he stands there, and hopefully he hits it, I guess, because that is just weird.
Yeah. Well, he has to figure it out now, but yeah, pay me. Well, okay, so let me finish with the Twins Pirates thing because there really was a thing that happened there, and it wasn't Buxton's home run, which was like so cool because he comes up to bat and he's hitting 135, and then he hits a home run. So you think, okay, what's it now? And it was like 183. So all right,
it's climbing.
And then he almost hit another home run in the same game, and so like maybe Buxton's coming along. I mean, I don't really expect him to be a power hitter, but it's nice when you have a center fielder who can hammer the ball.
He's not gonna hit 185 all year, so yeah, right.
Yeah. But the thing I saw that I thought was so beautiful, and it was because I was thinking about what you'd said last week about how these guys are superheroes right now. The way they're playing, they are superheroes, like facing down COVID and just like, we're just gonna make this happen. You know, or like,
Yeah.
And I saw Gerard Dyson manufacture a run, and it wasn't even like he was all celebrating afterwards. He looked kind of serious when he got to the dugout, but all covered in dirt. But he had a single and he turned it into a run, and I just thought, that's the kind of thing I need to see right now. I need to be able to see, like, I love home runs. I'm like anybody else. I was really excited when Buxton hit his, and I was really excited when he almost hit another one. But to see Gerard Dyson, just make that happen, because he's Gerard Dyson, right? And he's supposed to be able to do that, and he's doing it. But he's not all like, oh, look at me, I did that. Instead he just seems really focused, and that struck me as being a momentary, just encapsulated quickie story of what a lot of us are really trying to do right now, which is to keep it small and get it done. And that's that kind of thing. I wouldn't say it wasn't even inspiring. I just saw it. It just gave me a sense of peace. Like they're out doing it.
What didn't give me a sense of peace? Mm-hmm. Seeing a clip of. So remember last week we were talking about how dumb it was of the bench coach for the Dodgers to take his mask down to cough, right? Well, did you see the bench coach of the A's congratulating his freaking team, but he's out there doing the stupid fascist salute, right? And Liam Hendricks going up to him and trying to like bend his arm, like, "Yo, man, what the hell are you doing?" Right. So Liam Hendricks is like, "Yo, son, what the hell's wrong with you?" But then he does it again, and all I thought to myself was, I need to see the conversation between that dude and Jerks and Profar, right? After the game, when there's this like muscle-bound brother in your locker room that you got to answer to now, because what was that all about, bro? Right? And he was saying, "Oh no, I was just playing around, and I didn't realize I made this offensive gesture." No, I don't know that you didn't realize it, because it was one thing when he was doing the stiff arm thing when his players were coming off the field and tapping arms or whatever. But there's a point where he turns around and does it towards the stands where there are no people.
Oh, wow.
There's no, his team isn't there. His team's walking past him. His back's to them now. When he did that, I was like, no, he knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. Now, this is when every week I'm like, black players in Major League Baseball, there just are less of them. And sometimes I just feel like back in the 70s, when there were a lot of them, that's some bullshit that would not have flown. Right? Yeah. You can take your nonsense someplace else, because Reggie Jackson would be in your grill. Yeah. Right? Do you see somebody doing it with Dave Winfield?
No.
Dave Winfield would have picked you up by your ankles and dragged you around that field if he saw that nonsense. I would love to, like, I'm sure he was all like tearful in his apology and shit, but sometimes you just want to see the conversation where here are the consequences to your ridiculous actions. I
had such a complicated reaction to that, because like part of you just wants to go into denial, right? Like, oh, that was a mistake. But then you remember like the stuff with Turner and Hader, last year.
Yes.
This is real, which is horrible to think about. But then actually, like, it was kind of disturbing. Like, what if he was telling the truth and he didn't know? That's scary. Like, how can you not know?
How do you not know? Right.
It's not even with you that you don't know.
Did you see it in Star Wars or something? The Darth Vader and the Empire? Is that what? Did you see it there? No, you didn't see it there. So where did you see it? Like you just invented it? We got like 80 years of history here. You've never seen that before? What the shit are we talking about?
How can you not know? So it's disturbing either way. It's disturbing that he did it knowing, and it's disturbing that he did it not knowing. And like that was such a quickie thing where he's standing there with the players coming off the field and he just like moving his elbow.
Yes. Yes.
How does that not land with you that you go around and you do it again?
The reminder to me that there is this level of like ignorance and racism still in my game is every time you think about people like Aubrey Huff, right? Aubrey Huff loves to just retired player, but will get himself out there every so often to just say the dumbest damn things and double down on the dumbest, most like, kind of like racist things and bigoted things. And it's that sort of, that lets you know he's not the only guy in the clubhouse that thinks that way.
Right.
He wouldn't have probably been the only guy on the Orioles who thought that way, or the White Sox, or wherever he played. There's multiple guys that think this way because it's how it keeps going. Someone in your area is basically like, they're gonna like signal boost with you, and it makes you feel like you've got some corner of the clubhouse where people do think like you. And to get it out of your game, you're gonna have to call it out every time. Someone has to step up and call it out. I remember the Cardinals years ago had a problem with it was, I forget which player it was, but there was so much sort of like fundamental right-wing Christianness in the locker rooms and in the dugout that like players were made uncomfortable, and they were like, there's just some teams you don't want to go to because it's so deep and uncomfortable feeling. And it's like, baseball has a lot of room for a lot of types of people, right? And I don't care if there's like born again folks in a dugout. Okay, that's fine. But you can't nothing should happen in a dugout that makes other people uncomfortable or that is threatening.
Yeah.
If you wanna have church, okay, go have church. Just don't impinge on other people's rights, right? If you wanna say, hey, I'm a Southern dude, great. Don't have your stars and bars in the locker, right? Like it's easy to manage. Yeah. It shouldn't be so hard.
Yeah. And people should be able to like self-manage,
Yeah.
And the threat's one thing. It's if you chill people out, like if you set up such a chilling atmosphere that people know they're not wanted or that it's not safe, then how do you have a team? You're not going to win. You're not going to
You're not going to win.
That's bullshit.
The days of having winning baseball teams where everybody hates each other, it's been a long time. There used to be a baseball tradition. What was it? Was it the 86 Mets? It was 26 teammates, 26 limos home or something like that. Like just teams that just did not like each other. Yeah. They were not friends, but they played good baseball. They won together. And that's the thing. I think you're just not going to have so much of that.
Yeah, you're not. We have
hey, your boy Mookie Betts is back in the lineup.
Oh, we got Mookie Betts back.
Batting second.
By itself was his achievement of the week.
I thought he'd be out longer. I was surprised he was back. I was like, he only missed like 4 games. He wasn't even on the DL.
And Mike Trout came back. I was wondering, like, what if he went on paternity leave? And then he said, nah. I was kind of on the fence, and now this has happened, so I'm not going back. And I thought, that's going to be it for the season if Mike Trout doesn't come back.
No, Mike Trout's come back and hit a home run damn near every day since he's been back.
I know. And the very first at bat, right? He hit a home run. That's a happy dad. So that was really cool. But having Mookie Betts back like that. But now, okay, so help me out with this. They said, but Gerard Dyson's there was something about that game. I love PNC Park. Three Rivers Stadium. Sorry, and I think it's the most beautiful stadium I've ever seen. I
literally have that written down. I have in my notes. I have ballparks that I really like.
Okay.
And I just noticed that I like PNC Park. Yeah. I wrote it down here in my notes. I like PNC Park, but I only like it with the view to right field. I don't like it with the view to left field. The left field view looks a little too industrial, but the right field view has that bridge in the background.
Yeah.
That looks amazing.
Yeah.
I was just cruising around like what, because now there's no fans, right? I can really pay attention to the ballparks.
Yeah.
And PNC made my list of ballparks I like, but I only like one view of it. You know what made my list of ballparks I don't like? I don't like Citi Field. I thought I would. There's something about the outfield of Citi Field. It looks like a little, it looks like somebody's anime dystopian nightmare or something's happening out there. There's a whole lot of what do you call that? Duct work and stuff. Like, I don't know what the hell's happening in left field, in left center. I don't know what that is. It looks ugly. I can't stand it. I also don't like the Green Monster. So there. Yeah. I like Fenway from the outside. The Green Monster doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
There. I think I just might have lost some baseball cred by not liking the Green Monster.
It was fun when Manny Ramirez would misplay balls off the Green Monster. And
yeah. I like Manny Ramirez in the Boston outfield, but I never liked the Green Monster.
Yeah.
I like that baseball can have, the fields have no dimensional rules per se. Uh-huh. So you can have the Green Monster, or you can have that weird hill that the Astros used to have, right? Like, you know what I mean? You can have that kind of strange. The Cubs got the ivy that they can pretend the ball is lost in when they want you to just stop at second base. You know, I like that kind of thing about Major League Baseball. That they're not uniform, but some of these designs bad. You know, I don't like them.
Yeah, you know, that was the other thing about that game, Twins Pirates, is that it was so intimate. Like, if they had crowd noise, I didn't hear it. Lots of times, well, Pirates have like one of the best stories in baseball. They have, to my mind, the best name and logo in baseball, period. I love that P with the, you know, with like kind of the
Old English P.
Yeah, the P is beautiful. And of course the pirate is awesome. They have the best flag. You know, nobody else should even have a flag, just the Pirates. And you know, and they're also, for some reason, their announcers have always been not interested in being like broadcast network baseball. They've always just been really chill, really parochial, you know, just telling stories about what it's like to hold a bat. You know, they're just like really mellow. And the green of the grass is so green. There was a quick camera shot actually from right field coming in, and it looks like they have an entire pillar that, you know, holding up part of the stands, like over the third base side, visitors dugout, right? It looks like they've covered the entire thing to say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I think they should put that on screen more often, because I only saw it once, you know, and I know it's an unorthodox view from right field, but still, you know, show that more. And then they had some little girl on the jumbotron sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with this like crazy bouncing happy face that was like rolling around on the captions. It was like
that's hilarious.
And stuff, and I'm like, yeah, there's another place where they still do "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It's just, you know, it's kind of like nostalgic but real, but intimate, and I loved it. I wasn't even, and then, you know, Pirates had that great walk off. And I don't know. I loved the whole thing. I know it was just a game in a series, and it was, for me, so far the baseball highlight of the season. I really felt like I was there and I was involved, and and Dyson's, you know, turning a single. I mean, it wasn't an inside the park home run. He got on first and found his way around the bases until he was across home plate. And that was just really cool, especially because that was against Grandal, and that was just really, the whole thing was just,
it was, I think he hit a single, and then I think he stole second and third.
Yep, I think
that's
so.
What I think he did.
And
then ended up coming in on this, and then scored on a single.
Yeah, and I want to see him do that every day. You know, I like fast guys. I want to see that every day.
So I'm gonna make a correction for myself. My Howie Kendrick correction for this week is Jurickson Profar. I remembered him being on the A's, but he is now on the Padres. So he could not have tried to beat up the bench coach, which I would have wanted him to do. Instead, it has to be Chris Davis, and there's like two other. Wait, hold on. I just had it. They only have. It looks like they only have like 3 black players on the A's.
Oh.
They don't have very many, but it's like the outfield.
Marcus
Semien, Marcus Semien is one, you know, and then Chris Davis is another, and then there's a Tony. I want to say Tony Allen, but I don't think it's Tony. Tony Kemp. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I wouldn't like to make any baseball player mad. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they were just going to hold the grudge and see that I could probably live with that. But I mean, I really wouldn't want to be any baseball player confronting me, and not because I'm a girl. I can't take that, because I probably can't. Yep. But I mean, even if I were like a bench coach and I worked out like that, no, I would not want anybody mad at me. And you know, right? And but it just seems like, even though there's not that many black players right now, and that is not certainly not enough. I think that
generally the ones that there are tend to be pretty massive dudes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Everybody works out so much.
It's a lot of working out.
Yeah, it's a lot of working out, and but there also seems to be like an understanding at this point that you can stand up to somebody. It's not a scary atmosphere. Yes. I mean, I don't think, I can't be sure because I'm not there, but you know, there's been a lot of years and maybe even a lot of decades, you know, when black players, they had to take it.
Right.
Know? Because was it going to be any general support for them saying, I am not taking that. And that's a nice change. I think, you know, like, you're way better capable of speaking to that than I am, but I just am really feeling this like sense at work and coming from the culture that yeah, we're not putting up with that. We're just
and
not.
it's from having guys like CeCe Sabathia in the league for so long, and like some of these dudes that like you can tell they're prepared to get in someone's face and hold their ground and like make a case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we're changing the game and we're changing it for the better, and you're gonna have to deal.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Accountable. People are accountable now. They just don't get to do this bullshit anymore. Sorry. Now we'll have to
who do you remember? Do you remember when there was a player for the White Sox that who got challenged to a fight by some fan in the stands? Fan in the stands was giving this dude the business, and I want to say it was like Tony Allen or somebody like that, but like it was a former Tiger who became a White Sox. I remember his name is escaping me, but he was just this dude crossed the line with him a couple times while he was on the field, and he was like, yeah, meet me under the stands or something like that. And this guy's down there, and the player comes down there, and when he sees the player came down to kick his ass, right? He was like, oh shit, this just got real. All right, hey, so Tony Phillips, I think.
Tony Phillips, wow.
Tony Phillips, yeah.
It
was. That's when hey, look, man, there's a lot of things you can say when you're up there in the stands, but there's some things that are going across the line, and the fans have to remember that the players, not only can they sort of hear you, they kind of have access to you, right?
Yeah.
They know where you are, right?
Yeah.
Like, so don't challenge them to meet you somewhere, These dudes, they're not taking your bullshit anymore, man. What is wrong with you?
Well,
yeah, when he saw Tony Phillips, he didn't want any parts of that suddenly.
How about those guys that have put up with so much grace? And the person who comes to mind there is Jimmy Rollins, who put up with so much grace.
Because Philadelphia has also been known to have some terrible fans.
Philadelphia, wow.
Yeah. Philadelphia.
I don't know. Like, it's been known as some terrible residents too.
Yep, that's what I mean. That's it. That's it.
That is one scary city, right? And
hey, we've hit the point in the podcast where I think that once we have viewers, there's one thing that more than likely some of our viewers are really going to want to know. They want to know if they can see your kitten.
Oh, well, I would say yes, except that she is in the closet. And,
why is she in the closet?
Well, it's the middle of the afternoon, hot sleep time, and a lot of cats they'll go to a really private place before they totally sack out because they're creatures of battle.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, and so to truly sleep, they have to be all by themselves. So we'll have to see if I can rouse her, but I would have to leave the camera. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
I can just go and say to her.
Okay.
Check them out.
All right.
Especially if I disturb her.
All right, fans.
Hi.
We're doing this for you.
Do you want to come?
I know you want to see this kitten.
Do you want to come say hi? She's like, no, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. That's what she's saying. She said hello to me, but she's like, I don't want to get up. I'll keep her awake longer next time.
Okay, all right, next week.
Yeah,
we'll have a cameo from the kitten.
Yeah, and we'll have kitten cam because she's getting to be a big girl. She's a year old now, and she I don't think she's done growing, but Steve's worried about her because I would love to show viewers this, but her back legs are like really long.
Oh, all right.
And they are powerful. I mean, she's got like these bulging muscles on her haunches, but they're way longer than her front legs.
Okay.
Steve said he thinks she has weasel DNA in her.
Okay. Well, now she wormed her way into the closet.
She's so pretty, but yeah, she really is pretty girl. But it's kind of weird looking, but she's got this gorgeous back, and she kind of leaps along like a Halloween cat, coming at you sideways with her ears down, and you're like, oh no, and she's coming for me, and then you throw something, and then you start having a good time, But yeah, she's my doll. She's my little baby
hilarious. Doll. All right.
So parks that we love.
I've got the Royals Park because it's got a waterfall in it.
Oh, I love the water.
A whole lot of water.
Okay, but the fans I'm very unhappy with. I can't forgive them. Do you remember the All-Star game? And it was the year that Robinson Cano got to pick the hitters for the home run derby, and he didn't
Yep.
pick Royal. And those people were throwing stuff on his family.
Oh man. Okay. Yep. That's horrible.
So I don't forgive them. I mean, even that's like horrible, because that could have just been like 2 people, and now I've written off an entire city's worth of fans. But that was horrible, and nobody stopped it.
Yeah. Because see, again, that's fans being horrible, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I know, I mean, talk about grace, because that wasn't even like Cano having to put up with that with a lot of grace, but his parents.
Right.
Well, I mean, but you don't start a fight on your son's big day, you know.
Seriously.
Don't do that. Right. So yeah, so the Royals Park is really beautiful, but yeah, I really
Robinson Cano is also somebody you probably don't want to piss off either. That dude, he just got wider and wider and wider. Like,
I know.
he might be the thickest second baseman in the league.
I went to one live Yankees game. I went to a game at Yankee Stadium with a friend who had season tickets, and it was up the first base line. It was right around right field. I got to see Winfield up close a lot, and the fans did not let up on him. It was phenomenal. It was all verbal. Like, they didn't throw things at him, but they did not let up on him. And at one point, he stalked over near the right field wall, and he just spit on the ground. And then he said, "Get a job." Get
a job.
Yeah, and I'm like, that man is so big and so strong,
perfect,
so sure of himself that he doesn't even need to fight you. He'll just spit at you and see what you do.
Get a job.
I love him. Get a job. Yeah. That was a highlight of that game, and Dave Righetti pitched, but it didn't matter. That was the highlight of the game.
Sure. Dave Righetti.
Yeah, Dave Righetti.
That's a baseball name.
Yeah, right. I met him once.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, the Giants were in Denver. I don't know how it happened, but I met him. He was sitting with some guy at a coffee shop where I happened to be, and they were talking about baseball. So I stopped at the table. I had no idea who he was. And so his friend introduced him. He said, you know, "This is Dave Righetti." And I said, "Hi, I'm Beth Davies." And I shook his hand, and I went on chatting with him. And all of a sudden, like, the penny dropped, because it had just been like a long time. And I just all of a sudden, in the middle of a sentence, I stopped. I said,
"Wait, you said Dave Righetti?"
Dave Righetti. And then his friend started to sneer and say, "Now you're going to say you were at that game." I was like, "I wasn't at that game. I couldn't afford Yankees games." But I told him, I said, "Thank you so much for shaking my hand." And he looked really surprised. You know, I guess I was supposed to ask for stuff and get autographs. I don't know.
Right.
I was just like, "Oh man, I just got to shake Dave Righetti's hand."
That's a baseball legend.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Know, right? And I got to shake his hand. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
I know. That's like one of my happiest stories. My happiest, like, baseball memory stories. Yeah, but it was watching Winfield. Like, I would have rather met Winfield and said,
Sure.
Yeah, show me how to be that tough. I want to be that tough.
Dave Winfield's crazy impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. And that was back in the days too, when they wore like really tight clothes. And so, you know, like, I like the pajama look they have now, but those really tight clothes, it's like you could see you didn't mess with that guy.
Absolutely. What other ballparks do you like?
Well, I actually really like Coors Field. I think it's just beautiful, and going to a game there is really cool, because it's just, you know, Denver is like gotten big, and we've had a huge influx of population, but we're still like pretty much a cow town. And you know, we're not, I mean, people are just really chill. They're so nice. Everybody's like friendly. They're relaxed.
We had legal weed before a lot of people did.
Oh, they just want to have a good time.
So I can see that.
Yeah, and so it's just really super chill. And this is how low key we are. We have one of those races in the 7th inning, but it's sponsored by a local a dental practice, and so it's a tooth and a tube of toothpaste and a toothbrush.
not like cuts of meat or anything. You're a cowboy town. I think it'd be like a ribeye. A ribeye would be racing like a spare rib or something like.
It's totally healthy teeth, and they're like, kids, take care of your teeth.
Not a brisket. No one's racing a brisket. Wow.
You'd think so, yeah. You'd think it'd be like Meat City, but nope, it's a tooth.
That's weird. Okay.
toothbrush and a tube of toothpaste, and you never know which one's gonna win. But
I
we're
guess
all
maybe I don't know, that's as interesting as dead presidents racing each other or something like that. What Milwaukee with his various sausages.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of jealous of the sausage race because we got like teeth. Because I think that's kind of like obligation. You gotta have your obligations.
I don't know what would Denver. What would I have thought Denver? I would have thought it would have been like, it would have been, yeah, like there's not a lot of things that say mile high. Well, now you can make weed jokes, but like,
yeah,
you could do. Normally, when I think of Denver, you know what I think about, and it's weird because it's really about Boulder, but not Denver. I think about Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
But I think that was Boulder, Colorado, not Denver, Colorado.
But that would be fun because you could have them alternating, right? Like you could have like certain days, certain games where you have like a joint and a bong and a roller.
Why not?
A roller, and they have the race. And another day you could have like, I don't know, a giant split egg.
Who's the most famous person from Denver?
The most famous person from Denver. Wow.
Yeah, like when Denver starts like, saying, yeah, we're Denver. Denver's fantastic. Who's Denver's like most famous native sons?
Gosh.
Or daughters?
I don't have any idea.
Native people.
Now we are going through a big correction in that area. And so there might hopefully be some acknowledgement of great Native Americans and especially Latinx people, because
nice.
This was Mexico until 1848. And,
facts.
And a lot of people who live here, they were here since like the 17th century.
Yeah.
So they're like way more native than the influx of whites. Plus, I see. I should know my state's history. And I think during the Civil War, I think we were independent. Like we didn't side with either the Union or the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Which means we were one of the states that the war was over, because
correct.
Both sides.
Us. The oh my God, I'm watching MLB Network, and it's supposed to be it is the Cincinnati Reds and whoever the hell they're playing game, but they're showing this rain delay that the O's and the Nats had, where the grounds crew just absolutely could not get the tarp on the field because somehow part of the tarp got caught under the roller. So they're rolling the tarp out and also at the same time, therefore, rolling the tarp in. So it's a complete comedy of errors with the grounds crew getting absolutely soaked. Oh my God, it is. You got to look this thing up. This is freaking tragic is what this is. Meanwhile, the field is monsoon conditions. It's like a hurricane must have come through or something.
Okay,
not so a tarp is so
resume play today. That's what we.
I don't know when that was. Oh, it's a rain delay in the 6th. It's happening right now. It's it's the Nationals and Orioles game right now. Rain delay in the 6th, and they can't get the tarp on the field because the grounds crew they done fucked up. So,
okay, Terry, what's the score? What's the score? Is it 11-0 Orioles?
Which is weird that the Orioles are winning games now.
Right, yeah.
What the blue hell's going on this season?
Yeah. Is it Malone? Is that the pitcher?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, here's one reason why. Soto danced on the dugout roof.
Sure.
Right? You wanted that last week. You wanted a player to do that. He did.
I wanted players to be on the dugout doing like things that I see in the KBO, and now I'm seeing players now sitting up in the stands.
Yeah.
So when you don't want your team to get COVID like the Marlins and the Cardinals, you should distance even in the dugout. And now I'm seeing teams doing that. I'm very happy.
Very, very happy. Yeah, it's time to do that. And it's time to dance on the dugout. And it's always time to dance because dancing is good. There's nothing wrong with it. It can't even get caught up in a virus.
How's your Zoom meetings for your dance lessons going?
I don't have to do this anymore because we're down to in person. And
all right.
I just had a big milestone this week. I finished like my freshman year of cha-cha. So I graduated into my senior year of cha-cha. So I've got that hip action going, my hip.
All right. Baseball has paid off.
Baseball has paid off. Yeah. Yeah, all that batting, it turned me into a really, really good cha-cha dancer, So now I'm just on to the next step, which is better cha-cha, more polished and more sexy. And we added in swing. So I'm in my senior year of cha-cha and swing. I've already gone to college with waltz and foxtrot and rumba.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get into college now with cha-cha and swing, and then I'll be really happening, So yeah, so lots of swiveling. I'm doing lots.
What's the class size in your swivel classes?
Me.
Just you. All right, so it's one-on-one. It's just okay. Good. So it's, okay, yeah. They're not shoving like 8 people into a class, right? They got you. All right.
I got me. Yeah.
All right. Wow.
I know. Private lessons. Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And is that like also walking distance from your house, or are you light railing it?
No, I drive there. Yeah.
Okay, there. All right.
It's the other direction from the light rail. Yeah, but it's about 15 minutes, and I still manage to be late. But at the dance studio, they try to create like a alternative universe for you, which is really what a baseball park is for me. A ballpark is an alternative universe, and those are closed. But at least there's the dance studio, so they set all the clocks they set all the clocks 5 minutes behind. So if I'm 5 minutes late, I'm on time.
Got it.
I was 5 minutes ahead. I can't remember which it is, but they create like it's not even the same time in the dance studio as it is outside. So
yeah, right, fair.
It's really cool. So you can't even be late unless you're super late. In which case, that's your own fault. So you pay for it. But that grounds crew is still having a time of it. Oh my, it's tragic. It's tragic. No way. So that's my favorite Jimmy Rollins story. Was the game where the Phillies are here playing the Rockies. And we get dramatic storms that happen really suddenly, right? Like it's a perfectly beautiful day. And then it's like hailing these golf ball sized hailstones and raining and
This is common for Denver?
Common, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. We had one summer where we had to have our roof replaced twice. Yeah, and then so
and you said the population's growing.
And yet it's growing. Yeah, it's all that drug money though. So
okay, yeah, I guess you're high enough. You don't really care about the rain.
We are truly mile high. But this thing came in, man, and the grounds crew, of course, they're practiced and they have to respond fast because this stuff happens fast. But this one came in super fast, and the Rockies all like run down to the clubhouse, right? The Phillies stayed on the field to help the grounds crew. So you've got the whole Philadelphia team, and I think Rollins led it. And they're like holding with all their might. They're holding this tarp down, like they're actually lying on it at some point to try to anchor the tarp with the wind whipping through.
Wow.
All along the
Phillies baseball team are better people than some of the Phillies fans.
Yeah, believe it or not, right? Right? Yeah. So I love that. You could tell he was leading it because he was just like in the middle of it, and he's yelling at the guys, and then they're like actually nailing or lying on the tarp and just helping the guys out. That was like
that's
so
great.
Cool. Yeah, that's my favorite Jimmy Rollins story out of many, but yeah, that's my favorite for sure.
That's hilarious. I learned a thing about relative to the KBO.
Yeah.
I learned so the Doosan Bears are one of the teams in the KBO, but like I didn't realize that some of these team names are like the company name and then the mascot in a way, like like we were cities and mascot. So I saw a commercial. This is the first time I've ever noticed this, a commercial for something Doosan related. Doosan makes generators.
Oh,
that,
wow.
like that MLB uses.
Yeah, no way.
I did not know this. I thought, I didn't really go looking for like whether or not these places, like is Cebu like a place in Japan? Of course, I imagine it'd be a place in Japan, right? But like in the KBO, I just assumed all these places are like cities, right? And I hadn't gone and looked any of them up, right, or anything, but I just happened to be watching Quick Pitch this morning, and I saw a commercial for Doosan, and I was like, wait a second. Oh, my God, some of these are companies. Wait, they make a thing. All right, look at that, Major League Baseball using Doosan generators. All right, corporate-sponsored baseball team thing? Okay, I guess. I suppose. A little odd, like, it kind of like surprised me a bit, but all right, now I'm gonna have to find out what all these places are, like where all these teams are sponsored by, or are they cities or are they companies or what? Now I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, that's working. So what do you think? Do you think we're ever going to get to a place where baseball players are like, NASCAR drivers, where they're all like covered with corporate sponsor stickers and stuff?
So I don't know if baseball will ever do that because baseball's not really hurting for the cash per se, right? Okay. Like they're more than fine putting advertising all over the field.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. And that's the thing about even in the case of the virtual fans versus no stands or whatever. I'm noticing so many ballparks having gigantic tarps over seats with advertising on them. I think that baseball will go to probably having a sponsorship logo on the outfield projected virtually before they do team patches. But if, let's say, Nike comes along and gives them enough money, I can see swooshes on uniforms and things like that, and that's how you open the door, right? Yeah. I think baseball sees itself as purer than that, but the levels to which they've gone to do advertising around the ballpark tell me it's only too pure for it until it's not, right? Yeah, it's only too pure for it until it's not. Right? I used to think there are a lot of things baseball would never really do, and then baseball goes and surprises you with things it ends up doing, right? So right now, I'm going to say we're a ways away from that, but after this year, there's things that won't be put back in the box. I don't see the DH going away next year, right? The universal DH I see staying, right?
That's a done deal, yeah.
Some of this advertising that they're having to do in ballparks right now with no people in the stands, those advertisers are still going to want like advertising. So where's that advertising going to go, right? It's gonna be virtually projected onto the outfield grass for the at-home viewership when no one's standing, or you're gonna see Charlie Blackmon running through the outfield, and he's gonna run straight across like a Home Depot logo, right? Like shit like that. I think we're gonna be seeing that at some point.
Okay, Charlie Blackmon is like so beloved in Denver that if we're thinking about someday down the road with like Denver's like most favorite native son, so to speak, Charlie Blackmon's probably going to be up there. Yeah, we love Charlie.
Is he from Denver?
No, but he might as well be because.
Oh, okay, got it.
He's ours with like a capital O. Even
okay.
He leaves, but he's just so productive, and he's so genial. Like at the same time, it makes him perfect for our culture, because we are still relatively genial. Yeah.
He fits. That's cool.
Yeah, he fits. He fits really well, and he kind of sets that tone too. So, and he's a creature of he's his own self. Because we're very individualistic out here. We're very individualistic. Yeah. Who do you think is your most famous ever Chicago baseball player out of all the choices?
So, most famous ever out of all Chicago baseball players, I'm going to say it like. So for old school baseball fans, there's the Ernie Banks of the world, like players like that. But Ernie Banks, for the most part, like before my time, but he might be the most famous Cub. Like his nickname was Mr. Cub, right? But in the era in which I grew up watching baseball, Ryan Sandberg and Sammy Sosa were the most famous Cubs, right? For me watching baseball. And then on the White Sox side, the most famous White Sox player is probably Frank Thomas, even though one would argue that like there were, White Sox teams in the 50s and 60s that had more fame. Carlton Fisk, right? Would be more, but like I would say that at this point now, Frank Thomas is probably more famous than Carlton Fisk.
Yeah.
Like Carlton Fisk didn't get the endorsement opportunities. Like if Carlton Fisk got to actually endorse like, man pills, like Frank Thomas now gets to do, right? Carlton Fisk would absolutely he'd be nationally famous or as popular as he was in this town at the time, right? Yeah. And it's almost like a shame, again, baseball not marketing its stars nationally very well, that I would think that guys like Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, who are and Javi Baez, who are photogenic and well-spoken and such fun players, I would think that right now, having won a World Series, they should be the most famous Cubs, right, in the history of Cubdom, as they actually did win a World Series. But I suspect that outside of the National League Central, if somebody could pick Anthony Rizzo out of a lineup, I'd be shocked. I'd really be surprised by it.
So the okay, so I'm going to say the most photogenic Cub at present is Yu Darvish.
That's true. Or as I refer to him as my neighbor, Yu Darvish.
Oh, really? Is he your neighbor?
Yu Darvish owns a house like about 1.5 miles from my house.
That is so cool.
Yeah. He lives 1.5 miles from my house. Like you go out for you just go to the lake or whatever. And I point it out to my friends all the time when they're coming through Evanston here. Like that's Yu Darvish's house. And of my friends, very few of them are baseball fans. So then I have to explain who Yu Darvish is, right? Because first I'm like, his house is right there. And then I also have to be like, and he's a pitcher for the Cubs. He's famous for being a pitcher for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Legendary pitcher. Like, in Major League Baseball, legendary. His Cubs tenure, maybe not so much, but that's his house right there.
Yeah. And apparently he's a Twitter star, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just to see him standing there on the mound, he's just this. He's just like he should be immortalized in the.
He's an interesting looking dude, right? Like he's got like I went and looked up his background, right? Like I think his mom is Japanese, but his dad was from India or something, and I think it gives right, and it gives him. He's got this really interesting look about him, and his hair. He looks like a wild anime character, right? Like, how like you watch old school anime and like the hero never combs his hair ever. It's just this wild ass, like kind of going in every, look, Yu Darvish's hair does that, right? He has living human adult anime hair, and he just had weird, with his like soul patch kind of thing that he's got for a beard or non-beard. He just looks like a dude you want to kind of party with. Like, and I always like tell myself one day I'm just going to take a box of comics and just drop it on his porch and just with a note from Third Coast Comics.
Find you.
Right. I'm gonna do this one day. I just have to like the problem was that I used to ride my bike kind of like along a path to get home that kind of would go past his house, but I've decided that it's not the safest route to get home because the road I would have to use is really absolutely built for cars, not good for cycling, but it's direct. Right. So it's not a great cycling road. So now I just don't use that road. I don't use that street anymore. I take a safer route. But like one day I'm just going to go out for a bike ride in the neighborhood and just take an armload of manga and other graphic novels and just drop them off with a box on his porch. And his handler or whoever it might be, they want to take them in. Because, it's the baseball season. Yu Darvish ain't there. I know he's not there.
Include a picture of yourself, and you're going to include your Twitter handle, and you're going to include a flyer for Third Coast.
Absolutely.
And
totally going to do all that.
Your telephone number. You're going to include all of that, and if I were there, I would be hustling you over there today.
I would probably even leave like a map to my house.
Yep, map to your house. Yeah, whatever it takes.
Because to get to my house from Yu Darvish's house is technically one long straight street and a right turn.
Oh, that's brilliant! No, I would so be doing that
for a total of about a mile and a half. That's where Yu Darvish lives. It's great.
Right. You're going to have a better story because that guy is so smart and he's so observant. He sees everything and he's like all quiet, but then he like shows up on Twitter and he just, I mean, he has let everybody know, I see you, I get you, and now I'm going to pitch to you. Sorry, dude, I see you. And I love that. I love
and here's the other thing. It's for a pitcher with like 15 pitches, right? The trouble with Yu Darvish might be just throw 6 of them. Yeah. Right? He has 20 pitches, like he's made up pitches that are, they're not 20 effective pitches, but they're 20 pitches.
So most
pitches have 3.
Is he like our Satchel Paige of our time?
Right. Like this guy, there's a lot of baseball in that dude's head. That it might be a little too much,
But he gets people, and he's gorgeous. I love the pictures I really love Felix Hernandez because he's so square and just like grounded. And like grounding is just like such a big deal to me because it's hard to do. I get that. He's so grounded. Felix
Hernandez is like if a telephone booth could throw a baseball.
Oh yeah.
That's Felix Hernandez.
Putting it, that's a really good way of putting it. I love it, but I also just love those really long. You can see like all the ligaments, all the like little tiny muscles are just like super long, and plastic, and that's why I love Scherzer so much. I just like love to watch.
He's long and lanky. Yeah. Scherzer's that's
fluid. Yeah,
a lot of things happening there with Max Scherzer.
Yeah, and Darvish.
And he's got that weird supervillain thing where his eyes are 2 different colors.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Easily a supervillain.
Yeah, and all of his snarling that he does.
Yeah, lots of snarling. Yeah, as an evil person. I mean, maybe he's a very nice guy, but I suspect that villainy, when his baseball career is over, he's totally turning to villainy. Yeah. He's too busy for it now with the baseball season, but yeah.
Well, he was going to go to law school, so I guess he's got that villainy DNA in him, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay. All the lawyers I know hate lawyers, so I can say that. Yeah. One of my oldest friends is getting out of the business, and I asked her why, and she's like, I don't want to work with lawyers anymore.
We have friends who opened up a bed and breakfast in Cincinnati. Yeah. And when we first met them, we were staying at their bed and breakfast, and we were like, so. They were court reporters, right? Like, and they were stenographers or whatever. And we were like, why did you leave that to open a bed and breakfast? And they said, after 20 years, we realized we never met any happy people.
Oh.
And it's true. Like going to court, usually a lot of people in court, I was in court a couple years ago for something, and I realized, man, this is the worst day of a lot of people's lives today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the best for me, but I just realized, man, it's not the worst day of my life. But a lot of people you see looking around there going into court, this is the worst day of their life.
Yeah.
They did not want to be here. They would have done anything in the world to not end up here, and here they are. And this is going to suck.
Yeah.
And lawyers, yeah, you meet a lot of unhappy damn people.
Yeah.
Not a lot of happy people call and get a lawyer. I mean, maybe if you win the lottery.
B&B and like create happiness, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Totally.
Nice.
Shout out to the Clifton House in Cincinnati, Ohio.
So how's your fantasy team doing?
I am winning my game. I'm probably going to win my game this week. Currently, I believe I'm up 9-3.
Wow.
Looking right now. Yep, I'm up 9-3. Games have started, so let's see if that's changed any. Just kind of loading up the live look thing. My big move is I definitely dropped Bumgarner and picked up another pitcher just in case for this week. Yeah, definitely 9-3 is where we're at. And on the strength of largely my hitting, because I can say for sure my pitching didn't do so bad, but having Cleveland pitching on your team, you know, you could do worse.
You could do worse, yeah. So how is Gene Segura?
I think I'm going to end up in first place, I believe, after today. I think I'm going to be in first place. Gene Segura, not horribly effective, only in that I think part of it is the Phillies haven't played that many games.
Right.
But I'm still sticking with him. So currently I'm benching him because it seems like the thing I have to do. My right now, my bigger problem is because the St. Louis Cardinals are full of COVID, my 3 Cubs aren't playing. Their games are postponed.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm Javier Baez, Wilson Contreras, and Ian Happ are all on my bench.
Oh.
Which means, I mean, I'm a firm believer in position versatility. So I'm having to play Travis d'Arnaud, and he hasn't played every game this week, but like he's been effective. And I'm having Gene Segura is playing because I'm having to play him at short because Javier Baez isn't playing. And I have plenty of outfielders, so I'm not so worried about Ian Happ. You know.
Okay, so there was this year that the Mets had, when they had d'Arnaud,
yep.
There was this year that the Mets had 3 guys on their starting lineup who had a D apostrophe name.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Is it d'Arnaud, DeGrom, and...
No, I think one of them might have been DeGrom, and there was a third one. I don't remember who they are. I'll have to look that up later. But okay. But the guys who did the uniforms, they didn't know what to do because they didn't have any small case letters. What did they do? So they, I guess that the Pirates once had a guy that was like a D apostrophe something, and they called him up. They said, "What'd you do? How'd you do the uniforms?" They said, "We just took a P and we flipped it."
Nice.
That's what the Mets did. So all those are upside down P's.
That's great.
I know. My favorite part was the collaboration. Like this brotherhood of uniform people who stitch uniforms, and they're like calling around to the clubs, right? Who knew?
That's phenomenal.
No, I know. Yeah, no secrets here, man. We got to make this happen.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my fantasy team, the only place I'm not doing well for this week at least. My opponent has scored more runs than me. He scored 35 runs. I've scored 32. He's got 6 stolen bases. My guys have only gotten 2. And he's got more walks. He's got 31 walks, and I've only got 27 walks. But I've gotten 7 quality starts this week.
Wow.
I've won 4 games. My pitchers have won 4 games. My pitchers have gotten me 3 saves. My team ERA this week is 3.0, and my team WHIP is 1.06. So my pitching is absolutely held up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
The Sonny Gray, Zach Plesac, Max Fried, John Lester, Dallas Keuchel, guys have done well. Oh, and I think I have a Rocky. Hold on, let me double check. I do. I have Kyle Freeland still. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, that explains everything. Okay, so the That explains everything because the Rockies were playing the Brewers. Was that one game play-in or like
Yep.
it was a wild card series?
Yep.
And Kyle Freeland just ended up being an absolute star in Milwaukee, and everybody was like, "Ooh, Kyle Freeland, how exciting!" Okay, and then I thought he was Kyle Hendricks, so that's how that happened.
Okay. That explains it.
All the guys named Kyle, they're kind of interchangeable.
There's a lot of Kyles in baseball.
Tyler's a little bit interchangeable.
There's a lot of Tylers.
Yeah, right. Who are some of the others? Jeremy's are really interchangeable. Who are some others? Yeah, they could be.
There's a lot of like unusual, like non-standard names that there just happen to be a lot of now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be a lot of Marcuses.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh.
Right.
There's a ton of Joshes.
Yeah, and in fact, there's a lot of Matts. There's one team. There was a game in which there were two Matt Chapmans, I think, playing in the same game.
No way.
There was like two Matt Chapmans and two Matt Adamses or something like that, or two Matt Carpenters. They're two guys, same name. Like, yeah, different teams playing in the same game. Yeah. Confusing. All right, well, we've done another hour, like an hour and 10 minutes or so, right?
I know. So, I don't even want to stop, but I still have a bunch of questions queued up for next week for you.
All right, good.
And are we really a quarter of the way through the season?
Strangely, right at the end of week 2? Week 3? We're going into week 3 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't want it to end, but if the COVID gets to the Western divisions, then we may have a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at first it was an Eastern problem, and now it's become a Central problem.
Yeah.
So now, I think I'm seeing teams in the West like hanging out in the stands.
Yeah.
To make sure.
Yeah, yeah. And hopefully not. Well, I mean, they won't have to play the Cardinals probably ever. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to make it back.
Right. Yeah.
Might be a whole team down this season.
Absolutely. Everybody just gets a bye versus the Cardinals.
Yeah. So we have to say goodbye. I hate it.
All right. We'll be back next week, fans. This has been Drop Third Strike with Beth Davies in Denver, Colorado, and I'm Terry Gant in Chicago, Illinois. And we will see you, provided there's baseball, next week.
We'll see you that there isn't, because we'll have to debrief the whole thing. We'll have to have
Correct.
Morning, right? No
If it turns out there isn't, we'll still do an episode talking about how there isn't baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye, Terry.
See you, Beth.
Okay, bye.
Bye.